Welcome to Silent Heroes, the channel where we uncover the untold tales of extraordinary individuals who quietly shape the world with their courage and selflessness. Here, we dive into inspiring stories of real and fictional unsung champions, from everyday saviors and forgotten corners to legendary figures whose sacrifices echo through time. Each episode is crafted to ignite your spirit, teach timeless lessons, and remind you that heroism often whispers, not roars. If you're ready for a journey that tugs at your heart and lifts your soul, hit play and let's begin. The Silent Storm, a hero's final voyage. In the vast expanse of the Atlantic Ocean, where the horizon kissed the endless blue, the majestic cruise liner Aurora's Dream set sail from the bustling port of Southampton, England. This colossal vessel, stretching over 1,000 feet long and boasting 15 decks of luxury, was a floating paradise designed for adventure and serenity. On this fateful voyage in the summer of 2024, over 2,000 passengers boarded, their faces alight with excitement. Families with wide-eyed children clutched colorful brochures promising dolphin sightings and sunset dinners. Elderly couples, hand in hand, reminisced about lifetimes of travel, while dreaming of one more unforgettable escapade. Young professionals sought respite from the grind, and honeymooners whispered sweet nothings under the stars. The ship was a microcosm of humanity, diverse, vibrant, and united in their quest to bask in the ocean's timeless beauty. Among the throng was Elena Vasquez, a woman in her mid-30s with sun-kissed olive skin and eyes that held the depth of forgotten seas. She boarded quietly, her simple sundress and wide-brimmed hat blending her seamlessly into the crowd. No one knew her secret. Elena was a decorated lieutenant commander in the United States Navy, a veteran of covert operations in the Persian Gulf and rescue missions off the Somali coast. After a grueling deployment that left her soul weary, she had taken leave to recharge anonymously. Just a passenger, she told herself, sinking into a plush deck chair on the promenade level, lulled by the gentle rhythm of the waves. As the ship pulled away from the dock, Elena closed her eyes, the salty breeze whispering promises of peace. Little did she know this voyage would demand her greatest act of valor. The first few days were idyllic. Children splashed in the pools, their laughter echoing like seagulls' calls. Grandparents shared stories in the library, while thrill-seekers zip-lined across the deck. Educational talks in the auditorium enlightened guests about marine ecosystems, the fragility of coral reefs, the migratory paths of whales, and the ocean's role in regulating our planet's climate. "The sea is our greatest teacher," the onboard naturalist proclaimed, reminding us of nature's power and our duty to protect it. Passengers nodded, inspired as they gazed at the horizon, unaware of the storm brewing far to the east. On the fourth night, as the Aurora's Dream ventured deeper into open waters, the sky darkened ominously. What began as a distant rumble escalated into a ferocious tempest, a rogue storm system, intensified by climate change's erratic patterns, as later reports would confirm. Winds howled at over 100 miles per hour, whipping the sea into a frenzy of towering waves that crashed against the hull like thunderous applause from an angry god. The ship pitched violently, decks slick with saltwater spray, alarms blared and panic rippled through the corridors. Children clung to their parents, sobbing as furniture slid and crashed. An elderly man tumbled, fracturing his arm, while a young mother shielded her infant from flying debris. Captain Harlan Reeves, a seasoned mariner with 40 years at sea, gripped the bridge console, his face etched with grim determination. "Steady her!" he barked to his crew, but the helmsman, battered by a sudden lurch, collapsed unconscious from a head injury. The autopilot faltered under the assault, and the massive vessel began to list dangerously, threatening to capsize. Waves as high as 30 feet pummeled the starboard side, flooding lower decks and short-circuiting electrical systems. Lights flickered, plunging sections into darkness. Passengers huddled in life vests, prayers mingling with screams. "We're going under," a father cried, holding his daughter close. In the chaos, Captain Reeves seized the intercom microphone, his voice steady despite the fear gnawing at him. "Attention, all passengers and crew. This is an emergency. If anyone aboard has naval or military experience, particularly in seamanship or crisis navigation, report to the bridge immediately. Our helmsman is down and we need all hands. Your help could save us all." The announcement echoed through the ship, a desperate plea cutting through the storm's roar. Elena, jolted awake in her chair by the turmoil, felt a surge of adrenaline. Water drenched her as she staggered to her feet, the wind tearing at her clothes. Around her, people scrambled for safety, but her training kicked in, a reflex honed from years of drills and real-world perils. She pushed through the crowd, her mind racing through protocols. Stabilize the ship, evade the waves, signal for rescue. "I'm coming," she muttered, determination stealing her resolve. Reaching the bridge amid the pandemonium required navigating flooded stairwells and dodging panicked throngs. A wave smashed a window nearby, sending glass shards flying. Alina shielded a child from the spray, her arm gashed but ignored. Finally bursting onto the bridge, she announced herself. "Lieutenant Commander Alina Vasquez, U.S. Navy, reporting for duty, Captain." Reeves' eyes widened in relief. "Thank God. The helm's unresponsive. We need to manually override and steer into the waves to prevent broaching." Alina assessed the situation swiftly, her expertise shining through. Drawing from her naval education, lessons in hydrodynamics, meteorology, and emergency maneuvers, she took command of the wheel. "First, reduce speed to minimize impact," she instructed, her voice calm and authoritative. The crew followed, throttling back engines as she angled the bow into the oncoming swells. "Educate your team," she added to Reeves, turning the crisis into a teachable moment. In storms like this, fighting the waves head-on distributes the force. Side hits can roll us over. As hours blurred into a nightmarish eternity, Alina's leadership transformed despair into coordinated action. She directed passengers via intercom to secure loose items, reinforcing the educational value. Knowledge saves lives. Understand the sea's fury to respect it. Children inspired by her poise helped distribute life jackets, learning resilience in the face of fear. An elderly professor recalling oceanography classes assisted in monitoring radar, turning the ordeal into an impromptu lesson on weather patterns exacerbated by global warming. But the storm intensified. A monstrous wall of water, a rogue wave over 50 feet tall, bearing down. "Brace for impact," Elena shouted. The ship shuddered as the behemoth struck, tearing a gash in the hull. Water surged in, threatening to sink them. Pumps failed, and the list worsened. Elena knew the math. With flooding compartments, buoyancy was compromised. Sacrifices were needed. In a dramatic pivot, she ordered the crew to jettison non-essential cargo, lightening the load. A tactic from naval history, echoing the educational tales of survival at sea. Yet, it wasn't enough. The engines sputtered, power waning. "We need to deploy lifeboats," she decided, her heart heavy. But with waves cresting wildly, launching them risked capsizing. Elena made the ultimate call. "I'll stabilize from the engine room, manually reroute power, get everyone to the boats." Reeves protested, but she insisted. "My training prepared me for this. Go, save them." Descending into the bowels of the ship, Alina fought through rising waters, her body aching from bruises. In the dimly lit engine room, sparks flew as she bypassed fried circuits, drawing on her engineering knowledge from Annapolis. "One more push," she whispered, memories flashing. Her childhood in a coastal village, inspired by tales of naval heroes. and her deployments, where she saved comrades from sinking vessels. This was her legacy. As power flickered back, the ship righted just enough for lifeboats to launch. Passengers evacuated, the captain last to leave, glancing back with tearful gratitude. But Elena remained, wrestling a final valve to prevent total submersion. A massive surge hit, flooding the room. Trapped, she radioed. "All clear? Good. Tell them, heroism isn't glory. It's doing what's right, even alone." The Aurora's dream held long enough for rescue helicopters summoned by distress signals to airlift survivors. Over 2,000 souls were saved, their stories of the silent guardian spreading like wildfire. Elena's body was recovered days later, her sacrifice immortalized in headlines. Navy hero gives life for strangers at sea. In the aftermath, survivors reflected deeply. Children drew pictures of her, learning about naval service and environmental stewardship. The storm, a stark reminder of climate urgency. Families bonded stronger, inspired by her selflessness. She taught us that true strength lies in quiet resolve. One passenger shared in interviews her tale educating millions on emergency preparedness and the human spirit's indomitable will. Elena's story became a beacon, adapted into books and films, reminding European, American, Canadian, and Australian audiences of unsung heroes who fade into legend. It underscored inspirational truths. Courage blooms in crisis. Education empowers survival. And one life can echo eternally. Her final act, dramatic and emotional, etched into hearts. A woman who slept as a stranger, but awoke as a savior, trading her tomorrow for theirs.